When friends and students ask me what I like most about living in Seoul, I usually tell them it's the little things that make living here interesting. And at times puzzling. The little 작은 것, 약간 감정, little, the little. There's no question that all Seoul's a stage with all its quirks, peculiarities, and idiosyncrasies. 괴상한, 이상한. Quirks, peculiarities, and idiosyncrasies. You don't really have to go around looking for anything interesting either. There is always something happening around you that is likely pique your curiosity and make you go Eccentric, quirks, idiosyncrasy. Quirk. I know it's a bit premature, but it won't be long now until the peninsula is under the weather. As it were, when the yearly monsoon hits and everything gets sloppy. It won't be long now until he dies, as it were. Ask most anyone who has ever studied English what the hardest part of learning the language is, and they might tell you that it is trying to learn all of the idiomatic expressions that English speakers use. While there is no doubt that the language itself is rich and colorful in its expressions, the evolution of American English and its usage has some people, and not just language learners, scratching their heads in disbelief. In a lively and fascinating look at American English, Do You Speak American? Authors Robert McNeil and William Crane explore why the language is unique and how the standard for American English is changing quickly and dramatically. Their book, which is just as entertaining as it is informative, dispels some of the myths that some people might have with the language and its usage, as well as examine how it has evolved or de-evolved to where it is at today. Embarking on a fascinating journey that takes them across the United States from the Northeast Appalachia to the Deep South and west to California, and authors observe everyday verbal interactions and in a host of interviews with native speakers. During this linguistic journey, which among other things celebrates the diversity of the language, the authors call the linguistic peculiarities and traditions characteristic of each area as they talk to everyone from scholars, rural Texans, inner city blacks, and even valley girl teenagers. What the authors find out in this potent and compelling study is that American English, despite what some traditional linguists might claim, is not in decline, but instead continues to evolve. Peculiarities. What the authors find out in this potent and compelling study is that American English, despite what some people traditional linguists might claim, is is not in decline but instead continues to evolve. As such, McNeil and Crane challenge linguistic purists like John Simon, who believe that among other things, grammatical standards are in serious deterioration, that many saturation of American culture is sadly homogenizing its language and making it too informal. On the other hand, Jess Shadlow, the American editor of the Oxford English Dictionary, argues that people have always spoken informally, and nowadays this informal language is beginning to appear in printed forms where it would have never been used in the past. While examining the histories and controversies surrounding both written and spoken American English, the authors address some of the assumptions and anxieties which are sometimes highly emotional that have been associated with the language. Two of the more controversial areas explored in this book by the author include the growing influence of Spanish, which some have argued is a threat to American English, as well as the evolution of African American vernacular English. Likewise, likewise with their exhilarating investigation. Exhilarating investigation of American English. McNeil and Cram make some surprising discoveries when they get out and talk to people around the United States. For example, the authors discover that despite what some people might otherwise believe, regional dialects continue to thrive in a world of uniform taste. From clothing and fast food chains to television programs and movies. Throughout this book, the author delivers a lively and compelling exploration of American English with plenty of fresh insights into how modern Americans speak. While traditional linguists might not approve of the ways that Americans are speaking these days, one thing is for certain. As this book shows, the ways that Americans do express themselves is a testament to the impervious nature of a language and its evolution. How well do you know your American English? Mobility, immigration, and racial and ethnic mixing. Have profoundly affected the American language and the way that it is spoken. Nowhere is this perhaps better illustrated than in the waves of immigration which have enriched American English. American might not have the market cornered on the usage of such expressions. But one thing is for certain, it shows how important the assimilation words from other languages has been for American English and its usage.